Yeah, I'm going to really try and make that UK thing happen. We've been talking about it.
I think it's a great idea, Sean.
I would just love to go over there with the power of like the marketing power of me and Jeff together over there with fucking.
The lights are too bright.
No.
Okay, so sound good?
Yes.
Cool.
Good.
We're reunited,
We are, and it feels so good.
right? And it's been how long? How long has it been since we've actually like?
4 weeks? Wait, are we just jumping into stuff?
We should jam.
Let's jump. Okay. You'll tell me what the questions are then.
Well, we'll have some fun.
Okay. Cannot believe how
You guys can be a part of.
cute he is right now. You have to admit.
He's very cute. If we could move the camera, it might break it. Just from cuteness. So,
You smile, eyes, look at.
oh, he's fixing to.
Yeah, getting ready.
Okay, so this one, you know where to find. All the rest, they don't exist anywhere but on Periscope, so you're Forrest.
He's like,
So-
I want everyone to see my outfit.
Right? It's like, have you seen my burrito outfit?
So cute. It's okay.
He wanted chips and salsa, and I tried to convince Laura, but she was like, there's like a timeline for this. I'm like, come on, man. Like, what about the settlers going across? Like, do you think they had like perfect baby food?
Do you think they had chips?
Well, if they met the Indians and the Indians were like, hey, we've got like, we can make this like corn stuff.
Go. This is my makeshift swaddle today.
Swaddle. Okay. Well, the truth of the matter is, we don't have a boatload of time.
At all.
And,
no
and,
time.
and a boatload is a big exaggeration. Do you want to see if Henri wants to like work some magic with this guy?
Oh no, I'll work the magic.
She's got a prong collar and we can like, they haven't been outlawed here yet, so.
Let's just roll.
Okay
Roll
guys,
the show.
all right, so you stop that monkey business. That didn't work. Okay. Anyways guys, so I'm gonna wrap with you guys about a few things while Laura tries to swaddle and work some magic. First of all, our beloved Shelby is no more. I mean, she's still, she didn't pass away, but she could be lost in another time zone.
She actually could be lost in a time
She could be in Alaska by now. Like Shelby's like, I don't know, but there's
doing emails from Canada.
like it wouldn't be polar bears. Are there polar bears up in Alaska? It'd be grizzlies. Yeah.
Grizzlies?
She'd be seeing grizzlies and
Penguins?
the salmon's running. No, sorry. Ooh, that's a good one. Make sure you put like penguins with a question mark underneath that graphic for Alaska. Guys, we're already, this is already going to be a golden show.
But there's no penguins in Alaska.
No, that would be the Antarctica or the Arctic Circle. I think it's Antarctica.
But isn't Alaska cold?
It's a cold place.
Okay,
A cold place for grizzly bears and moose.
but not.
Well, I mean, if you flew in like a couple like paratrooping like penguins that were like, we're coming in, like,
Oh,
but
so
otherwise,
they're only in one place.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and not in Alaska. Not that I've seen. Maybe maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
I don't think so. Anyways, so our beloved Shelby is gone but alive. She's on an adventure, cross-country adventure. She's headed back to NOLA, back to whence she came. She spent a full freaking year here learning, stealing all of our secrets, becoming an incredibly, exceptionally highly trained TGD trainer, understanding how to read dogs the way we do, how to work with dogs, how to create the same kind of stuff. She's really got it nailed down. Her client stuff went from being very shy and unsure to like really rocking it. She's really got some great stuff. She's got a lot of empathy and a lot of care and like us, like the rest of us, because I think it's kind of like prerequisite
Yeah.
is that you have to come from like having a bad dog.
Yeah.
And like if you come from a bad dog, you automatically have different set of empathy
Henri.
and.
Oh, Henri has Malu.
Malu's like,
But Henri came
ask
here
Brittany
before
how Malu is.
That's right.
Right?
But she came here before she had Malu.
Yeah, but
Henri just has like special skills.
yes. So we'll exclude Henri. But anyway, so Shelby's headed back to NOLA. That's what people were asking if she's from there. She actually is from there originally. She was a client there. We trained, worked with her big, giant, scary Mastiff, Sam, who's luckily become a very nice, sweet
Awesome,
Mastiff,
sweet Mastiff.
and has been a lot of fun here. So they're headed back to the nice, mild climates of New Orleans. Samson's like, no, leave me in LA. And so basically her and Cambry are going to be like the backbone, along with me traveling down occasionally, of the NOLA TGD. That means that NOLA TGD is like slamming.
Solid.
I mean, we've got one-on-ones, we've got board and trains, and we've got 2 trainers that are kicking ass at very high levels. So it was a long-term plan, so we kind of have to do a little props for that, because, and I know a big part of it was your plan to bring her out here. I was telling everybody she came out for like 2 weeks, and then
She came out for 2 weeks, as we called it, like a shadow kind of thing. Like, hey, you want? But it was really just a job interview, and I think she knew it too. And
I was the only one who didn't know. I was like, oh, she's coming for a 2-week shadow. I'm always the last to know.
And then she went home, and I was like a week later, we were like, so you want to
come back out? And she's like, okay.
Yeah, awesome.
And we didn't even give her a timeline. We just said come out for what, a month or something.
The only thing is that we knew that we needed help here, and we knew we needed to train her for New Orleans.
Right.
So however long that was going to take.
But did we ever have that explicit conversation?
No.
No. We just said, come on out. And it ended up being a year. Anyway, so Shelby, we love you. We miss you. We miss Samson. And it's quiet around here. There's no more like Mount Caramel jokes, which is a bummer for me, because I was really starting to get in my groove. That's the private school she came from. That's not actually called Mount Caramel. She'll butt into this. Anyway, so Shelby, good luck, lady. Safe travels, and I'll see you in New Orleans really soon. And hopefully Laura and Forrest will be able to get down there too.
Soon.
Other big stuff. We got to boogie through this because we're running late, and Forrest is like a ticking time bomb. The one that they always talk about in pure positive training. That's the real ticking time bomb. So, like, it isn't about prong collars and e-collars. It's about this guy right here.
He's asleep.
Like, he's got a short fuse, and then.
You know, a lot of people are going to be watching this out here, watching me rock him. They're going to fall asleep.
Really?
Don't you think?
Okay. So, anyways, guys, the book done, out of our hands, in God's hands. Am I correct? Hopefully. Yeah.
If they get to me tomorrow
Was
with some
that
changes.
your thing to God?
Yeah.
What is it? That'd be like a Linda Gelman thing, like my word, my lips to God's ears.
Oh yeah,
or
to
something?
God's ears. Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that. I don't know.
That is
That'd be a
absolutely
total Linda Gelman thing.
Yeah, totally.
What you'd say, very East Coasty.
Yeah, East Coast. Like,
Yeah.
From my lips.
From my lips to God's ears. And God's like, hey, easy, Tiger. So anyways, book's done, cover's done. You guys have seen the cover. The cover came out so good. We're super duper proud.
Yeah.
Laura has finished up, as far as we know, all of the formatting and interior of the book. We've sneaked some peeks. Everything looks great. Now the only thing is like, any tweaks come back where you have to actually do some adjustments for like for real like technical stuff. But it is at the printers like like we've
checks in. That's all I know.
Checks in the
Checks
mail,
in cash.
and we've like pushed the responsibility off. So guys, it is like we've done it. I have to say I'm proud, and like I've been sharing on like Instagram stories and other like videos. I always, and I shared this with you, like I always feel like these big projects that we're gonna do, I'm always like, yeah, and then there's a part of me in my subconscious that's like, you'll never get it done. It'll never happen. And I have to squash that and keep working towards it. But then even as it becomes, I mean, maybe in my 20th book.
Everything in life, I feel like every big risk you take.
Do you think Stephen King like starts like his next book and he's like, shit, I'm never going to get through this?
I think there's always probably a part, someone going like, is this going to be the one?
Is this the one where?
I actually peter out.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, so that's a little truth about that like it's always scary, and it takes so much, like, before it exists, it takes so much fortitude, intestinal fortitude, to push through, and then all of a sudden it starts to get closer and closer, and you're like,
really?
This might actually, like, happen.
Things always change once money crosses hands, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Once you, like, set money off to someone that you're delegating stuff to, and they accept payment.
Ha, we got you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, once we started the 99 Designs thing, for one, and got the cover art going, because that was going to be a bit of a sticking point, and we got some good stuff in, and we knew money, we had already, like, guaranteed it, we knew it was gone. So anyways, guys, the ones who pre-ordered for the signature, customized or not customized, but
signed.
What do you call that? Personalized. So those will be coming. We're going to bust ass as quick as possible to get all that out to you. Just know it's done. Just know there's no more excuses, no more tap dancing, no more look over here, look over here. It's done. It's done. So a couple other things I want to go really quick. You guys know Belle went to the doctor last night, 3 a.m. Really scary situation. If I'm not mistaken, idiopathic vestibular disease, which is an inner ear issue, which strikes a lot of dogs as they've gotten older, and, like, completely incapacitated her and kind of paralyzed her, and it was I really thought that might be it, and I was crying all the way to the vet, truth be told, and I was like, man, I may never get to play with her again. It was like, it was hard, and filling out, like, the paperwork with, like, tears dripping all over it. I'm sorry, it's a little messy. She's a special girl. She's a special girl, and, like, when it's the sweetest dog in the world, like, the last thing you want is to see them in, like, some kind of dramatic pain or so. Anyway, she's recovering, like, in typical Belle, like, tomboy fashion, really, really, really quickly. A lot of people have written in, they've dealt with the same stuff, so it makes me feel a little bit better. Let's see what else. Prongs just banned in Toronto, so I've put up posts to you guys talking about they want to take your tools, and I wanted to make sure that, like, I put up a post again today, which will be several days after you've seen this, or prior to this, basically talking about they have now taken your tools, and although it's just in one spot, the reality is what I've been trying to get across to dog trainers, but especially owners, is that there are groups that are highly organized, highly motivated, and they're working to get rid of the tools and the choices and options and possibilities you have to train your dog. They want to get rid of prong collars, choke chains, e-collars, all that stuff. They want all of that off the table, and then you're left with this many possibilities. Dogs are going to die, because I hate to sound dramatic and crappy, but I'm going to tell you, dogs are going to die from this. A ton of dogs are going to die because the owners won't be able to control them with other methods, and dogs are going to be rehomed. Dogs are going to be relegated to the backyard, stuck living in the back, sad lives in the backyard, sad lives locked away in rooms or crates and things like that. It's such a freaking bummer, and the biggest bummer is that these people who you have not given permission to represent you are going out and getting rid of stuff that can help you. And if you're not aware of it, if you're not checking in with it, you're going to lose your ability to use these tools. You're going to lose your freedom to have these tools. And the interesting thing, if you do a little research on the Toronto thing, they had something put up as, like, a bylaw that was going to be, like, no tethering on a prong, things that made realistic sense, that, like, oh, everybody can get behind that. And literally, if I understand correctly, at the last hour, they snuck in with, I don't even know how the whole political system there works, they snuck in a special addendum that said no choke, no prong collars ever on a dog. Like, and all of a sudden it was done. It starts March 1st, which was a couple days ago, and, like, so if you're somebody with a dog that needs a prong collar and you live in Toronto, right? Reality, boom, there it hits. Yeah, so, but then where does it go next? What city's next? So I want all you guys to know that it's not just BS, it's not just drama, I'm not just trying to get you worked up. They're coming after your tools, and they want you to train the way they want you to train, and they don't want you to use anything they're not comfortable with. And if things don't change and the tide doesn't turn and we don't get motivated, a lot of people are gonna lose those options and those possibilities. So that's a huge thing.
Black market prong collars in Toronto. It's a business for someone out there looking for a job.
We should .com that.
Yeah, black market prong collars Toronto.com.
Yeah, put on Forrest's name in case he gets in trouble.
Just in
He can
case.
do 5 to 10. He'll be like just a teenager, ready to
be
go.
a teenager.
He'll be like, I'm ready for life. Okay, and then the last thing is that Jeff is going to the UK, and like he's going to go storm the beaches of the UK. I can only imagine, only fathom
I
what
just
that's
picture
going
the
to.
hair, just lots of hair.
Is that me?
the
Oh,
wind.
let me just turn this up. So Jeff, like, in the UK, just seems like it just seems like what is it, like
Sore thumb.
gas and flame. It just seems like it's ready to roll. Jeff's in a really good space, and he wants to teach and inspire and help people, but I know there's a lot of people that are going to be a lot of pushback and stuff. Here's the deal. Me and Jeff have been talking. I'm contemplating going with him. I'm contemplating whether I go for the whole trip or if I go for just a part of the trip and we do Q&As, and really, like, I kind of want to go as like muscle to support him.
I love it.
I want to keep him safe. Like, I don't want anybody coming up behind him with, like, like a squirt bottle.
A zip cord?
Yeah, or
Oh,
some
a
kind of, and like shooting him like vinegar in the eyes or something. Like, so I feel like I have to protect him, but I also feel like if me and Jeff go out there together, there's a certain amount of, there's just a kind of an undeniable thing, and I don't mean that in a cocky way, but like, we've worked extremely hard to get our message out there and create a certain kind of presence, and I think together we'd kind of be like some superpower
Unstoppable.
action.
Yep.
So we're talking about the details. If we can work the finances out and schedule and I can get away, then I'm going to join Jeff for part of the UK trip, which will be super exciting, and we'll probably do some Q&A stuff aside from his like RV dog trainer Q&A, which will be open to anybody who wants to ask business questions, personal development questions, and training questions. Just a wide open forum. And we haven't figured out any pricing for any of that, but it's going to be a blast. And I'm most excited about with what's currently going on in this climate, that we can go out and try and hopefully make some change. The guy Roddy Kirk, actually, who's bringing Jeff out there, was instrumental in getting Scotland to not ban e-collars.
Wow.
Like, he's really like put his money where his
Wow,
mouth is.
that's
So
cool.
hats off to you,
Awesome.
Roddy. Anyways, that's kind of where we're at. We need to boogie through this show because we don't have much time before our ticking time bomb goes off. So cute.
He's sleeping.
He's sleeping. Well, maybe we'll do a marathon show then. What do you think of that? Okay, so the first one we've got is like, we didn't have many questions, so I had to go to Periscope and be like, it was like a lifeline. I was like, Periscope guys, I need questions. And so it's a little bit of a different episode, but roll with
This is
us.
Mount Carmel now.
What is she saying?
Hey Shelby.
Hi, Shelby, you're on the show.
It says, hey Shelby, are on the shelf. Hey Shelby, are on the shelf. Hey Shelby, are on the shelf. So we are on the shelf, and you shall be on the shelf. And you shall be on the shelf.
Is it just duplicating, or are you doing it?
No, it's still listening to
Oh.
me. So
Hi, Shelby, get back on the shelf. Right? That'll be a helpful text. In case anybody really needs to
see it.
Well,
Can't see it.
okay, but it's proof.
out of focus.
Anyways, okay, guys. So Shelby's on the shelf. So let's.
So that's the first question. Okay. Oh, introduce the show. Well, the baby's.
Oh, the baby's quiet. Oh, Shelby's getting all worked up. She's worked up. She's ready. Okay. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. It's Sean from The Good Dog. And this, to my left, the two of these guys. Shelby's.
What?
We'll be okay. We'll get through this. To my left is the lovely Laura Morgan. Nails, you want to just like give a quick
there's
display?
nothing.
Nothing there?
No, yeah.
Okay. Baby nails. And then the lovely Forrest.
Carter.
Forrest Carter. I almost called him Forrest Morgan. That's not his name. Forrest Carter with the cutest feet. Oh, don't wake him up. It's like a sleeping bear. And everything you can't see here is the Good Dog's Q&A Saturday
1, 2.
125.
Woo!
Right? Did it? Yep. I did this solo. Did you see my solo? Like,
Oh, I did. You
I
did
was like
awesome.
wheeling, dealing. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
did awesome.
once the pressure was off of you judging me
Yeah.
and like hurting my feelings, I was like, bang, bang, bang. It was all very easy. It shows you what anxiety, pressure, and judgment can really create in a human being. Anyways, moving right along.
Let me, yeah.
You got a baby to tend to. You can't argue with me.
All right.
It's not time to waste.
Question number 1, while the baby's sleeping.
Yes.
Comes from Avishai. Avishai.
Yeah. And somebody said I had my first Israeli, I don't know if this is Avishai, but my first Israeli fan.
Really?
Yeah. I was
Whoa.
like, man, come on, we're spreading.
First.
Like a fungus.
Avishai says, hey Sean, we adopted our 6-year-old dog a year ago and we've been struggling with his separation anxiety.
Yeah.
He freaks out and howls when we leave and goes crazy when we come back.
Yeah.
It's bothering us because we know it means he's in constant mental pain and stress and can't relax while we're away. After a small phase of working positive only, that's with a trainer that sucked, we discovered you and Jeff Gelman got a crate and started working step by step.
Yeah.
When we left him in the crate, he destroyed it in minutes, so we had a mini educator and started introducing him to it so we can work on commands and eventually correct him for the crate biting via webcam. The thing is, he shivers every time we take out the e-collar, even before it's even on him,
Right.
and we can't seem to get to the level he gets the idea of communicating with it. We did the introduction, as you say, and we're talking about a level 1. So when the e-collar's on, he gets that he needs to behave, so he's stressing out. He's not stressing out. He's stressing out, but not destroying the crate or barking.
Right, right.
But what can we do from, it just sounds wrong. I want to be able to work with him at the remote, be able to correct.
Yeah, he's worried about leaving it on.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Right. Okay, so a couple things. I'm going to try and be real quick with this. One of the reasons we can have a dog come in and share firmer consequences or e-collar corrections in the crate, even without a lot of patterning, is because what's going to happen is over the course of a 2 to 3 to 4 week board and train, we're going to give them a very wide presentation of what the collar means. Does that make sense? So the talking to you like you've like a client, right?
No.
Does this all make sense to you?
No, it's the right words.
Okay, so basically that's really the catch. This is the whole deal. If you're only using the e-collar to correct in the crate, and I know you've started some foundational stuff, right? So the foundational stuff was like hopefully done right, and the dog feels comfortable and is like, okay, cool, that's what the e-collar means, and I'm comfy with that. And then you put him in the crate, he doesn't like it, he's stressed, you know that he's worried about it, and then he starts getting corrected for it, right? So then the association becomes that the e-collar starts to be equated with crate, stress, corrections, and it all is kind of like tied in with like bad stuff. So if we're correcting a dog in the crate that's nervous, anxious, trying to tear out of the crate, and we correct them high, we're not concerned, because what's going to happen later on that day is we're going to take him out for an e-collar walk. We're going to take him out and we're going to work on e-collar place, e-collar sit, e-collar down, recall. Now what I want you to get is, if you think about this in a kind of like a bigger picture sense as association, then what you're doing is you're changing the context of that e-collar meaning one thing, and it means crap, we're in the crate. Stop laughing at me. What am I doing?
Shelby on the shelf.
I'm
sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry.
I was in a mode.
I know.
So instead of thinking about, who knows where I was, so I don't want you thinking about the e-collar in a singular context, because that's what it's going to create in your dog, is a singular context association. I'm going to read you some notes because I want to make sure you get this totally right on. Right. So the dog is associating the collar with specific contexts and corrections, which are crate stress and corrections. So those are becoming a combination. You put me in the crate, I'm going to be freaked out in there because I don't like it, and I'm going to have e-collar corrections. That in and of itself isn't terrible, even though a lot of people watching this is going to be, that's the worst. It's not terrible if you create a multitude of other contexts of training the dog where the e-collar means a lot of different things, especially if the e-collar can mean some really fun things, right? So if the dog is really worried about the crate and like that's a big problem, start doing foundation more and more. I know you're doing it, but I would go like, I think you're probably, like most people, focusing on like the big problem situation. Yes, that needs to be addressed, but I'd love for you to focus as much on the general principle of training. So what I say here is you need to expand his associations and his expectations and keep that collar on at all times. So expand his associations, meaning that the collar goes on and works in different places.
Recall, place, down, sit.
Especially fun play, like go to the park and work on recall, like go like have some fun, throw the ball around. Like you can put the e-collar on the dog and not do like, I don't want it just on him in the crate, because all he's gonna do is go, this is on, this sucks, this is terrible. Put it on him and do a lot of different stuff. Train him, but also do fun stuff with him. And the thing you were worried about keeping it on at all times and that it's stressing him, I want to make a clear distinction for you. I get it, and I get why you're apprehensive to do it, but what it will end up doing is causing your dog, they're just such great pattern readers that he's going to go like, collar's on, means I'm going in the crate, means bad shit's gonna happen, right? So if you keep it on at all times, then it starts to dissipate or blur the lines of like that clarity of like, that's what this collar means. Instead, the collar means a whole bunch. The collar means fun, the collar means walk, the collar means work inside the house, the collar means working with my dad. The collar also means being in the crate and not being a knucklehead. But you need a wider context for that dog in order for that dog to feel different about the e-collar. And I would say if he's shaking when it's on, don't play into it, don't worry about it. Start doing some other work. Dogs that are like, especially like, sometimes shaking stuff doesn't just come from the collar, even though you might be associating or connecting it with the collar. It might just be that the collar is being connected, not just corrections and people being like, you're shocking him, but that the collar's connected association-wise with being in a crate that he doesn't like. And so now he's like, dogs are very good at like, Pavlov proved that like the ringing of the bell creates this psychological response, right? So this all of a sudden means like I'm headed into the crate, and then you get shaking, right? Even if it's like out for hours. So I want you to leave that collar on, and I want you to let go of any of the weirdness about him shaking or anything like that, and I want you to start to teach him a very wide, all-encompassing context that e-collar means everything. It doesn't just mean crate, it means a blast, fun, cool stuff, but also corrective stuff if you need it.
Yeah.
It's my best stuff.
And all that other stuff is going to lead into helping with the crate. Like you just you know, another reason why we can correct with the crate is because we do a lot of stuff outside of the crate that leads them to being less calm, or I'm sorry, more calm in the crate.
Yeah.
So you're not correcting at the dog at 11 out of 10, we're correcting the dog maybe at a 6 out of 10 because we've done all this other stuff that kind of calms the brain.
Absolutely.
So work on all that other stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
And I'll close it with this, and that is, if we didn't do all of the other comprehensive training, we couldn't get away with correcting dogs in the crates because we would create the same association.
Yep,
the dog would be like, shit, the e-collar's bad news.
You would do that with anything.
Yeah, it's just, we're all looking for predictors, right?
Yeah.
This predicts that crate, you leaving, nervous, stress, anxiety, or correction if I start to lose my marbles. So your job is to blur the lines of that and expand that.
Yeah,
I hope that makes sense.
Okay, let us know what I've learned. Just enjoy the moment. Because this could pass in like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
You can be back up. Question number 2 comes from
Jeff.
So Jeff wanted to know,
Do you know how hard, real quick, just as an aside, like all these people put questions up, and I was like, I need your names. Right, because Periscope gives like all these ads and stuff like that. And I was like, I have no idea, and nobody would get back to me. And I was literally begging on Periscope. I'm like, please tell me your freaking name because I want to personalize this. And then like finally, like after 10 minutes, anyways, like they put me through my paces.
They made you work?
Yeah.
Jeff says, what is the difference between escape training and avoidance training?
Both with fantastic names for marketing, right?
I know.
Right? They just like the terminology
The fact
used.
that they call that, yeah.
It's just crappy.
So weird.
Like escape training. Like who wants to take their, like, let's teach your puppy escape training.
Yeah.
And the dog's like,
I want to escape.
Anyways, escape training is a simple concept, and that's basically you teach the dog through any kind of pressure source, typically e-collar, or you can use a prong or something like that, and you teach the dog that they're in control of turning off the pressure, right? So escape training is basically the dog escapes the sensation, right? So Laura, put your arm up, this one.
I'm leaning on it, very comfortable.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to correct you. No, go ahead. That works great. So I'm going to apply low-level pressure, and then she's going to put her arm down.
Oh.
Pressure goes away. No, bad dog.
Down.
She's. Right. We might need a prong collar and an e-collar. So put your arm back up, real quick.
I didn't get any hand pressure.
No, because I'm work with me. Okay, so this is the e-collar, right? And I'll pretend, okay, now she's really putting me through my paces. Now I'll pretend like I've got a leash over here. So e-collar pressure goes on. She feels that lightly, and I guide with this. Goes down. Now do it again.
It's so nice. I don't feel that e-collar pressure when I...
Good, right? You're learning, you're escaping, right? So now I'll add a word. Down. Good. Do it one more time. So what you notice is when I say down, I apply pressure here, and I apply guidance, which would be my leash here. This is the funkiest demonstration ever.
No idea.
Here we go. Yeah, this is escape training. You're learning. Down. Good. Right? Hopefully that makes sense. So escape training, if you think about it, like, I think that's a badass example. So we're just flying by the seat of our pants. If you want it in dog terms instead of like some strange humanistic terms, basically you're going to train a dog to sit. You've got him on e-collar, you've got him on prong collar. Or let's make it simple. Let's make it just prong collar. And we'll take the e-collar out of it just to make it exceptionally simple, except for you people in Toronto. So,
but you have a few minutes, so what are the differences?
I'm getting there, but I got to explain it. So if you're going to teach sit, you say sit, and light pressure comes up on the prong. Not pop, not any of this. Light pressure comes up, right? Dog feels it. Dog goes, oh, and maybe you put 2 fingers on the rear. And the dog sits its butt down. And when the dog's butt hits the ground, pressure goes away. We're talking light pressure. We're not talking about like, we're talking about light pressure. If it's e-collar pressure, same thing, but you need a leash to guide, right? So, dog's up, sit, good, right? So that's the pressure from the prong or from the e-collar. Now, so escape training basically, if I'm gonna like make this super clear, is pressure goes on, then you add guidance for what you're looking for, dog completes the activity, pressure goes away, thus the dog escapes the pressure. I finally got her. Does that make sense, everybody? Does that make sense to you? Did
Totally.
it like clarify? So that's escape training. Now avoidance training is once you've gone through this process and you've really proofed the dog, and the dog knows everything that you're asking for, then we call it the corrective phase, but you can call it the avoidance phase. And the avoidance phase is basically where you say, like the dog's done a million sits, dog knows exactly what the word means, knows what the behavior means, knows they're accountable for it, and now you just say, sit, and if the dog doesn't sit, depending on what kind of trainer you are, some trainers say no, like Jeff will say no, and the dog should sit. We repeat the command and with a tap, and when I do this, that's the tap of the button, right? So we're in avoidance mode or correction mode. Dog is up, sit, he doesn't sit, sit.
Right.
Boom, that's avoidance. Now, if the dog's really got like proofed,
Essentially, you can avoid feeling a collar.
Exactly, and now I'm going to demo that. So now the dog comes up like this, sit, good. The dog avoided any pressure at all. No e-collar pressure, no prong pressure. So first they start by learning to escape the pressure and that they're in control of it, and then they learn that they can actually avoid and beat the system by doing the command. And if you do it really harshly, which I think a lot of people's perception is that this is like harsh training, then yeah, it can be really hard and heavy on the dog. Like if you're like escape training, and like the dog's like, holy crap, what do I do? But if you're slow and you guide and you really like want the best for the dog, you can make escape training very mild and very easy. And then avoidance training doesn't have to be like blasting a dog to kingdom come. It's just finding a consequence where it's like, sit, and now you're accountable for it. And if perfect. And if the dog gets to the right spot with it, then they'll give you the recall, the sit, the down, the place, without having to give any stem. The stem's there if you need it in case the dog's confused or not listening or blowing you off, but otherwise, he's beat the system. Escape training, avoidance. Hopefully that makes sense.
Cool. Great. Nice work.
I like our demo.
I know what those things are.
I know you are, but I mean, I know you do, but
yeah,
I just...
It was, I was a little, maybe
awkward.
I'm not up to. Maybe I would come
like
in
when you're practicing drums and you're like, this limb won't stop going with this limb, and
maybe
because Johnny Vodakovich has been like texting me and he's like, I really need a raise.
Oh my god.
I've been teaching Laura, and I need a raise. No, he said he loves it.
No.
He said he loves it.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
You have to do lessons with him.
I have.
I know.
At his place.
I know, but you have to do them consistently. Oh, there's probably not a lot he can like.
Here's the thing. I'm an established professional with a very long list of credentials, and at a certain point we become. No, I'm teasing. I love studying with Johnny because he's a fucking million times wiser man than I will ever be.
Study in person, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Because he'll make you the coffee.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and like I told, I shared with somebody like our first lesson, his first lesson. Or our first lesson, he leaned back and he unbuttoned his pants. And I was like, where's this going? And he's like, you gotta be comfortable, man. But I can't do a Johnny impersonation. He's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna try. Yeah, man, you gotta be comfortable so you can breathe. When you're trying to play the groove, you gotta be able to like let it flow and your belly has to be able to move, right? And I was like, okay. And so like we're getting into some yoga stuff here. And
He loves yoga.
Yeah, he does. And he was talking about, he was using yoga comparisons, but he'll unbutton that top thing and let his belly breathe and like do his thing. And like, that's what we call a badass.
Yeah,
he's a ninja badass.
Badass.
And I was totally teasing that I don't need any help. I need all the help in the world. I promise. Okay, next question. Justin.
Question number 3 comes from Justin. Justin says, what are your feelings on doggy daycare?
What do you think?
Do you want me to answer
I
it?
just passed the hot potato right off to you.
Hey, I'm all about it. So, Justin, this is a great question. Feelings on doggy daycare. Well, in theory, it's awesome. When I first got Polar Bear, I was like, oh my gosh, there's this thing called doggy daycare when I go to work.
Have you ever
I can
sang the
drop
Polar
them
Bear
off.
song for everyone?
Polar Bear, always in your mother's hair.
Likes to bite her?
Likes to bite her all the time. Chases it with a lime. Look out. Here comes a polar bear. In the thrill of the night.
Oh, is there
at
more?
The scene of the crime. No, that's actually.
Yeah. The best part's just the polar bear because I like that he
with a
chases it with a lime because he's so cavalier and like he's like, I bet you. Yeah, good day.
Like a shot.
Yeah, chase it with the lime. Anyways, how many times have we sang that song? A million songs.
And I think we had chased a few things with limes when we made that up.
Probably, but there was like a million different versions.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to one of the girls. I was singing it. They're like, "What are you singing?" I'm like, "That's the Polar Bear
Polar
song."
Bear song.
But it's built into what Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and they're
No.
You had to be there.
Yeah, you can't. You
Anyways,
can't
but you've heard it now. Okay.
So doggy daycare in theory is awesome. I love the idea of a bunch of dogs get together. Oh my gosh, they get to play. It's so cool. They have dog friends. You can watch them on the little cam. Oh my gosh, they're actually doing stuff when I'm
Did you
not
watch
home.
on the cam?
Are you kidding? All day, every
I knew
day.
the
had
answer.
one-
I knew the answer, but
I had one window open with the cam on. And he would just wander around bullying everyone. So
my polar bear? I don't believe it.
it's probably where he learned like a lot of his like bats.
Probably. He's like, I'm the king of the castle. King of the castle, king of the castle.
He got time out a lot. Okay, so
With a broomstick. Probably.
he's like, we grabbed that broom.
Right?
So here's the deal. You know, theory, it's cool. To be honest, what we see a lot are dogs who come in who have dog aggression or dog issues or nervous around dogs
Yeah.
because they had a bad experience at doggy daycare. They were attacked at doggy daycare. They got in a scruff. They got in a fight. A lot of times, you know, just like a dog park, a normal dog cue, which is like normal, like a dog saying, get away from me, to a dog that's bothering him, a person who's not necessarily trained on that stuff could see that and say, oh, that dog's growling, he's a bad dog. When in
The one that's kind of setting a boundary.
advocating for himself, that dog could be seen as a bad dog, and we've seen those types of dogs get kicked out of doggy daycare because it's like
they're the
growling.
growlers.
Yeah, but they're really just saying like, get away from me.
I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, don't get in my face and whatever. So I think, in theory, cool. If I'll just keep going back to that, if there was a doggy daycare that was run by people who were balance trainers,
That's the whole thing. or just incredibly astute folks that ran it like a tight ship.
Yeah, and like, you know, one person per few dogs as opposed to one per 45 dogs or
and
whatever.
the ability, I don't know what you think about this, and the ability to intervene and not just time out.
Yeah.
But actually, like, I would send my dog, if I trusted the people, to a place where they could actually correct my dog and be like, knock the crap off.
Knock that off. Don't do that again.
Then I get a better dog when I get him home rather than a worse dog.
Yeah, as opposed to just pulling him out of the situation, actually correcting the behavior so the dog doesn't do it again.
You know that like Shelby and Henri both worked at like places where they had to be like hands off.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
And Shelby, we were just talking the other day, she was like, basically, it's the worst breeding ground. I won't name any names of the spot, but it's the worst breeding ground for developing dislike of dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because dogs get to be a-holes.
They get to do whatever they want.
Right? And your hands are tied. All you have to do is they jump on you and
it's
misbehave.
It's like working for a company that they say the customer's always right. Doesn't matter what a jerk they are.
He just took a dump on the counter.
Yeah.
Well, clean it up and see if you can advance him to first class.
Exactly.
Right? Didn't somebody take a dump on one of the...
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, sorry, that's...
What?
You never heard that? That's one of the great all-time stories. A huge executive.
Oh, I think I've... Now this...
Huge executive on a flight. Everybody's going to be like, I remember that. And he threw a tantrum about something. They wouldn't give him something he wanted. So I'm sure he'd had a cocktail or two, and he climbed up on the, what do they call them, the trolleys, the food carts, dropped his drawers, and took a dump right on top of it.
Oh, he's crazy.
Well, or just was not impressed with the food or beverage assortment.
Like commitment.
I always think, when I think about that guy, it reminds me of the climactic moment where King Kong scales like the Empire State Building. I'm serious, I love it. And I picture like a guy in his business suit climbing up the food trolley and like, and then he's like, and I just think, man, your career, buddy, like, there it goes.
Or?
And one dump away.
We're always one dump away from our careers.
I think that's pretty much true. Like, you could go down the line, and I think if you set, this is like really going astray, but I think if you went down just about any business, I'm sure we could find a few in like the sex trade business or something where that would be like, maybe you get a raise or something, but otherwise, anywhere else,
you're one dump away from losing your job.
Yeah.
Always.
Like if, you said it too perfectly. I was going to try and add to it, but you are one dump away. Let that be a lesson to you guys, right? Like,
this show is falling off the rails.
No, this is a good one. They're going to enjoy this one because truths are being told.
No one watches it anymore now.
Is that true? Is it because it's just become a folly, a farce? In my perfect world, we had the technological ability and the production budget to create like a cartoon. No, not a dump. By the way, do you know the only thing I caught off? Sorry, I'm like all over the place. I tried to catch beads off the parades at Mardi Gras. Do you know what I caught?
Dog poop.
No one's throwing dog poop, thank God. I caught a poop emoji.
Really?
Like that, like, No.
Oh, you cut a poop emoji on the beach?
I was trying to catch, they were throwing great stuff, and I was like, I got something. I was like, it's a poop emoji. And so I clipped it to here and like wore it for like an hour, and I was like, this sucks. Anyway, so like, yeah, like Laura said, like, no greater wisdom has ever been spoken or smoken. We're all one dump away from
being fired. Our careers being ruined.
I think that's a good thing to adhere to.
Okay, he's sleepy. He's still sleeping.
Okay.
If I could just put the binky in there, don't make eye contact, don't look over there, don't say anything.
Nice work. Okay. Nice recovery.
Yeah. Question number 4.
Oh, eyes are open again. Oh. Don't touch. Don't rock.
The rock.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Question number 4 comes from.
This is scary than working with an aggressive dog. I'd rather go like battle with the corgi.
It's seriously like a scary movie sometimes. We're both like, what was that?
He moved.
Question number 4 comes from
And we agreed with or we clarified with Justin as far as the doggy daycare. Like if it's run like really well,
it's
if
awesome.
people like know their shit, then it's a great thing.
That's rare.
It's so rare because you know why? Because all they want to do is make clients feel good. They want to attract clients. Like show them on the cameras. Dogs are having fun rather than dogs being good, and that's the real big distinction. So if you can find one of those spots, go.
Do it.
Okay.
All right, question 4 comes from Michelle.
No, it might be Michelle. The guy put his wife's name up, and I had a hard time spelling it. I think it's Michal. Yeah.
Michelle.
Okay. Cool.
Michelle has a question about newborn and 6-year-old dog tips.
Yeah, and so once again,
Periscope.
this is from Periscope. So the questions are a little bit limited. So I figured we've answered this question in not too recent past.
Yeah.
Okay. Not too recent, or is it too far back?
I have some tips.
Yeah, let's hear
I was
them.
talking to someone the other day about my newborn and dogs. Okay, well, the way that I have to say to preface this is that I'm kind of like the ER nurse that doesn't want anyone in her world to ever get a motorcycle.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
like,
it's a good way to put it.
Been around some seen the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's no need to introduce dogs and newborns. No need to put there's no like, oh, the baby's gonna like have, it's gonna be Tarzan baby that like, grows up like bonding with dogs because it was an infant. No, it's too much of a stressful thing. It can be stressful on dog. It's too much stress for you. There's just
way high danger.
Yeah, so dangerous. So I think the best thing with that is just keep them separate. No blankets in the crates, no silliness. Just have the dog exist around the baby. Correct if you see weirdness for like crying or anything like that.
Worry, anxiety, like even if your dog's in place and like staring at the baby, or like Laura said, whining
and like feeling.
None of those are like what you got to get. Everybody's like, well, I don't want him to be afraid of the baby. No. He's concerned, or she's concerned, he, she. If you're getting vocalizations or staring or alertness, that's a physical emanation of the mindset being like concerned. You have to go after that.
Yeah. When I knew that Cujo's cool, Cujo's with, he's not around close to the baby or anything like that. Like I trust Cujo with everything, but I still am like, I have no interest in even entertaining any possibility.
Yeah.
Like when the baby cries, Cujo doesn't even care. He just like sits there.
Which is a great sign of safety, but you don't let Cujo go up and kiss him so they can build a bond.
God, no. That would be the stupidest thing ever because it's an animal. You don't know. I really think like as trustworthy as you would think a dog is, every dog can bite and they may get nervous, that may make a sound that freaks them out. You just don't know.
Meaning the baby could? Yeah.
And I've seen my baby too because they have the reflex stuff. So they'll be like,
all of a sudden something happens.
Something something freaks them out and changes their equilibrium, and it could pop the dog in the nose, and the dog could go like that, and you got a bite, and just the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like in a small baby's face and a big dog, man. Like
any dog's teeth, bad.
Yeah.
Don't even introduce the possibility. Now with a 6-year-old, that 6-year-old can talk. So I think Gelman has a really good rule of thumb that
she's talking about a 6-year-old dog. She's got a newborn and if I'm not mistaken, it's a newborn and a 6-year-old dog. No.
Okay, so then we're settled with
that. Yeah, you're right on the money.
Existence, boundaries. You said a bubble. Yep.
Yeah.
All those things.
Does everybody get that? So just to wrap up, I'm gonna like reiterate what Laura said, which is she's looking for existence. Like Cujo is around the baby, but he's around the baby. He's not in the baby's space. He's not up in the baby's grill. He's not allowed to touch, lick. How close would you let him get?
So I'll hold the baby when we're going for a walk. So as close as he'll get, I'll have the baby in my arms. Cujo will come up, and pretty much every day he'll be like, "What's that?" Kind of like that. Yeah. And I nudge him away with my knee really good, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not allowed to sniff."
Right.
But that's it. He's not even close. He's like right here
Yeah.
sniffing.
What about baby or Cujo's in the backyard, right? So he's not even in the house.
Well, he's on like the porch, and if the babies, I would never leave them unattended.
Yep.
Ever.
Yeah, give you a little short list of like nevers.
Never leave the baby unattended around
This is
the dog.
super important.
Never let a dog get in the baby's face.
Yep.
Never have the baby on the same level as the dog anywhere.
Yep.
Never
Awesome.
have the baby on the floor where the dog's always on the floor, right? Never let the dog sniff the baby.
Food around the baby.
Oh, God, no.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's a
if the
great one.
baby's eating or something, like
Oh, yeah.
never, ever,
Once
ever,
the
ever.
baby gets to like actually like eating on a high chair and the food drops.
Or toys.
babies go like this and they kind
Could you imagine if like the baby had like one of the dog's toys or something? Like
horrible.
yeah. So does
never know. You never know.
the best thing you guys can do is err on the side of safety for your
Yeah.
baby. It's your job. You got to keep them safe. We love our dogs, and so many people want to create, because it's family. So they want to create this with the family, but what they're trying to do is create a family with two different species.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to either one. You're really setting a dog up, like Laura just said, through all those different actions and reasons and causes to make a mistake, and all of a sudden, like, your dog's
great
the bad
dog.
guy.
Yep.
Right? A dog that could be the greatest dog forever, live his whole life, but you allow a moment in time to go by or transpire, and something bad happens, and then
All you have to do, this is the best thing to just be like, should I or should I not have a bond? Just Google baby face bites, and then you're done.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
Google them, look at it, and go, oh look, that's 1 second away. That could happen 1 second away, even
Yeah.
with a totally trustworthy dog.
It's
so not
horrific.
worth not even worth trying it.
And then let me close it out by saying this. Any of you who are afraid, and I think this comes up a lot, that you won't be able to build a bond or a relationship with your baby and your dog because you haven't created this initial thing, it's the most not unrealistic, it's the most erroneous concept out there. Like, I've watched Jeff with all of his kids had firm rules about, like, you are not allowed to interact with the dogs are not allowed to interact with you until we're at a certain stage where he could say, like you said, no to Angelo, and Angelo's like, boom, put on the
Yep,
brakes, and that he was tall enough to kind of walk around and look more like a human. And guess what? All of his dogs and all of his kids are best buddies.
And guess what? If they're not,
They didn't sniff any blankets.
Yeah.
They didn't come up for kisses.
but
They didn't do any of
The
that.
reality is, if they're not, who cares?
One more time?
If they're not best buddies, who cares? Like
Yeah,
people that
yeah,
are
yeah,
like
yeah.
creating like, oh, well, what if they never have a bond? Who cares? It's fine.
Yeah, who cares? But I guess my point is
I
just
know
that.
what you're saying. I'm just saying there's no like.
There's two distinctions there, definitely.
They're dogs. They're fine. They don't need a bond.
They're not going to go to bed quiet, sad, and heartbroken if they haven't connected with your baby today.
they'll be fine.
But the reality is, if you do this right, that once your child becomes more of a grown up, like looks like a human,
Yeah.
it becomes very easy for this connection to start to organically be created.
Yeah.
So if you're afraid that you'll never be able to have your kids and dogs together like comfortably, that's BS.
No,
This is a special point in time
Yeah.
where
Babies,
all sorts
they
of
don't look like real humans.
they don't talk like it.
Yeah.
Well, not like he's talking, but they don't act, they don't make sounds, they don't smell, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
So
Nix it.
nix it.
Nix it.
Yeah, hope that helps.
Hope it helps. Question number 5 comes
Yeah.
from Gabriel.
Tough question.
Yeah, Gabriel has a new dog that had bit its previous owner.
If my translation's right on Periscope, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I feel like I knew that. I feel like he asked me this on my Periscope, and I told him to like.
Oh, really?
This wasn't like a Q&A time or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
He's 18 and he wants to be a trainer. I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, then that's got to be the guy because
Yeah.
he said he was 18.
Okay. So Gabriel, the dog bit someone in the past, and how does he make this dog see?
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, some of the details he shared was that the dog's a little nervous, a little
okay,
insecure,
okay.
right? So not
Yeah.
the most confident dog.
Typical stuff.
Yeah. So I think Gabriel was like, the question I have here is, how do I make him safe?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really broad question, and we could have a million different answers, and all of them could be like not right on the money because we don't know your dog and we don't know what's cooking. But the handful of things that you can do to make a nervous, insecure dog feel safe and not bite is, one, advocate for him. Do not let that dog be put in a position of pressure where he has to make a decision of whether fight or flight. It's as simple as that. You allow people to get into your dog's space and then like come close to touching or anything like that, and your dog then has to make a decision of, am I safe and do I run, or am I unsafe and you know, and do I bite?
Yeah.
Like that's a mistake on handler stuff. So I understand you're young, but I want to plant that seed that it's your job, like Malu and even Samson. So two of the girls, you know, that, well, one used to work here, she's gone off somewhere else. Shelby and Henri's dogs both have nervous stuff. They're highly trained, but they have nervous stuff. So just training alone doesn't make nervous stuff always go away. It might help it, but it doesn't make it completely dissipate. And so when they take their dogs to public places, they're very, very careful to advocate for their dogs. They don't let anybody pet them. That doesn't make their dogs bad. It doesn't make Henri and Shelby like not nice people. What it does is it makes them awesome owners that are advocating for their dogs. Because why? Because both their dogs get worried when somebody they don't know, that they don't have a relationship with, comes up. So don't put that pressure on your dog as kind of like an overarching kind of like concept. Your job, advocate for that freaking dog. Don't let people touch him. Don't let people like push you. Don't let people give you the old, I'm great with dog, you know, I'm a dog person and da 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 da.
I used to have one.
Yeah, I used to have one. So let's take that off the board. Your job first and foremost is to advocate for your dog. Keep him safe. Don't allow him to get into a position where he has to make a decision between fight or flight. Super duper important. Then, so that's the explain advocacy portion. Then existence, like I want your dog to learn how to just exist around people, not interact with people. We've talked about this at length, ad nauseum. It's such a huge, huge component, and it's the part that people miss over and over again. Everybody thinks, once again, we're talking about babies, same thing. We're talking about fearful dogs, same thing. Everybody thinks we got to create this bond. The best way to create a bond or create comfort is by first getting rid of the discomfort. So if a dog's worried about a baby or somebody else, get rid of the discomfort, then create neutrality where the dog's like, I don't really care. Then, depending on the dog's unique state of mind, you might be able to move into some kind of space where you create more of a connection. Does that make sense? Is that clear? Right? So we go from discomfort, and that's dangerous right there, to neutrality of like, with neutrality is basically like how do I want to put it? Existence, right? So the dog's in place or sit or down or wherever, and the dog's not allowed to interact. And what that ends up doing is, if you pattern it enough, your dog's in place, right? Somebody comes walking by, or your guest comes in, your dog's like, I've seen 1,000 people walk in this house, and I'm not allowed to go up and go do anything or assess them or be worried about them. That puts them into that neutral space. Then you have the possibility of starting to move them into a different space if they're built that way, if they've got those kind of tools. Malu has been like around a ton of us and has like built comfort slowly with individuals here, but some individuals she's not super comfortable with. And if you took her out to a public place and somebody tried to reach and pet her, she might bite somebody, even though she's a great, sweet dog. So it's just super important to really think about limitations and a ceiling, and not think about training being the be all end all that like changes dogs' state of mind. And they're like, yes, we talk about transformation, but there are limits to that. I don't want anybody thinking there's magic where you turn a key with training and like all of that fear stuff's gone, all of that fight or flight stuff's gone, all the nervous stuff is gone, because it's not. You get it better, you improve it, and who knows how far it can get. So along with that, so non-interaction, and then like don't pressure him through this whole process. I'd love for you, Gabriel, you're young, it's easy to be 18 and be like, I want to prove some great stuff and make some great stuff happen. this may not be you. You may be like ahead of your time, you know, like maturity wise. But what I would love for you to do is think heavy duty about not pressuring your dog to move too fast. Just take your time. Let this whole process, if it takes a year, let it take a year. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, it took me 2 years to be able to walk Oakley and Junior back in the day around other dogs. 2 years of going out every day, twice a day, and working my ass off to get that. Like, that's when you want something and you're determined and you want to do it right. It takes a hell of a lot of work and it takes patience. So don't get in this space of like 3 to 6 months, this dog should be great. Maybe you will be, but I would love for you to move really slow. And what is that? And I think the last word is cautious.
Carefully.
Or carefully, right? So move slow, move carefully. And for God's sakes, the best thing you can do is just like, whenever anybody asks, like, when should I, just read your dog, right? Who is that?
Savitsky.
Savitsky, come on over here.
Oh my
We're
gosh,
shooting a TV show.
Q&A Saturday.
Wow.
Come,
Wait, come sit.
yeah, you can have a seat right here. Did you get makeup done and everything?
No makeup.
No makeup?
Makeup done.
Come on over, bud.
Beauties real quick. Sit in.
Dude.
How are you?
Good.
Good, good. Have a seat. I'm just finishing up this last question.
Scoot forward, like lean forward. There you go.
Yeah, she's gonna like hard time you if you mess this up. Don't mess up the show, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, anyways, Gabriel, I kind of like already reiterated. I know you're 18. Be patient, even though you're 18. Even though you're probably like really determined to make some awesome stuff happen. Do not pressure your dog to move too fast. Take your time. Move slow. Be more patient. If people are like, "Come on, your dog's doing great," don't listen to them. Listen to your dog. The only one that knows what's cooking is your dog. So don't listen to anybody else. And be super careful. If the dog's already got a bite on its record, you get another bite, that could be it. You could lose your dog. You could have your dog in a situation where your dog gets put down, something like that. So, got to be super careful about that. Once you get a bite on the record, boy, you got to be extra careful. So you basically have yourself a heavy-duty responsibility to advocate, move slow, and be an awesome freaking leader for this dog, and then see what you get. So hopefully that helps answer the question. Anybody have any questions for Sean Savitsky? Sean 2? Let's check the back.
Sean 2 looks like Forrest when Forrest is grown up.
What's up? What's up, Forrest? How's everything?
Good.
Yeah. What are you doing?
See you.
Why don't you tell the crew, tell everyone about who this is?
Okay, so this is well, we call him Sean too, but he's actually Sean Savitsky. He's got a name. And shit, when did we meet? 12?
12.
12.
Ish.
And lots of adventures ensued, paper routes,
Yes.
early experiences with bad dogs,
That
like real bad dogs. No.
breed.
Large breed, and we lived in a hood that had like, and you like, it's not a hood anymore, but back then it was kind of a hood.
Yeah.
Right? Like, was that
Kinda still a hood.
DeSoto and Sherman Way?
Yes.
Yeah. Belle, get out of here. And watch out. Zilly, watch out for the cord. Don't trip.
Yeah.
And so our first kind of like foray into like, well, Sean, it was actually Sean's gig was delivering newspapers. And so there were certain areas where the local population felt the dogs should just fend for themselves, which meant us, right? So all the dogs were allowed out. And so you'd be like riding your bike at like 5:30 in the morning with thousands of pounds of newspapers,
Right.
unable to steer,
Right.
unable to escape, and then all of a sudden, literally like out of some like commercial, you get like this like herd of dogs, like they come flying out from houses, and you're like, oh shit, and you know them, right? You know, you'd be like, oh shit, it's that one, and so we ended up having to like carry like protective devices, and really keep. Well, we can't disclose those, but I mean, we were improvising, and like dogs were trying to bite us.
Yes.
This wasn't about like, oh, they're following us because we're riding bikes. They're like, or get off our property. This was like, let's see if we can beat you down the street and maybe take your leg off. So those were early adventures.
Yes.
Early dog. I mean, I'm telling you, it was treacherous stuff.
treacherous.
And sometimes we would send one of us down the street while the other covered. right? Like little, yeah. We'd send one down and we'd be like, okay, shit, we got trouble, and then like I'd go in or Sean would go in. Like, yeah, it was
Dogs look bigger when you're 12 years old.
Yeah.
because they are.
Like German Shepherds look like creatures from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, totally. What are those? Not where? What do they call? I don't even know what they call those things. But those giant beasts. So yeah, so we started there. I've lived with these guys basically like my, like pseudo adopted family off and on for oodles of years. Worked with you and your family, and they've been huge supporters of me, which are the big reason why I'm here. And then Sean actually,
48, 49 years old.
he's 52.
Oh, but it's just good to say.
No, we're the same age. Aren't we the same age?
Yeah, we're like a month apart.
Yeah, I think
Looks
we're
like
both
I'm filming like 29-year-olds.
29.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
If we could have got a clean shave on both of us, we would have gotten a couple years off. And then Sean came to work for us. I don't know, a handful of years ago. Like
Yeah.
what?
Just for a couple months, and he's like, I'm doing my
like
own.
4 years.
No, he hung longer than that. Was it that long?
Yeah.
5 years ago?
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 2011, 2012.
Yeah, so Sean came, worked with us, and we did training, we did dog walking, we did the whole deal. He really kind of learned our method and our approach and our secrets and all the good stuff. And then we kind of passed off like a lot of the walking business that we were doing. We were doing a lot of training stuff, and Sean just kind of like ran with it and created his own like empire of like dog walking, boarding, and he's even doing training and things like that. And of course, like any clients that we get, we send them, if they need walking, we send them to this guy because this guy actually knows how to keep your dog from being a knucklehead.
Yeah.
So because we tend to get the more challenging clients, if we send those clients to a regular dog walker, you got big trouble because they're going to be like, come on, Foofy, let's go. And like, why is Foofy biting my neck? And Sean knows how to use all the tools, both like prong, e-collar, anything else that we've been using, as well as all the rules and all the structure and all that stuff. He knows all the ins and outs. So the dogs are like, oh, maybe I can like, oh shit, he knows all the rules. And so he quickly is able to put them in a good space. And then I think that the dogs end up doing, like, it just becomes like ongoing training. You know what I mean? Yeah, they get walked and they get exercised and all that stuff, but
Like continuation school.
it's like continuation school. Yes. Right. For those of us who are challenged, who might have ended up in like not the best school part. Yeah. So anyways, so that's Sean too. And if you need help with walking or boarding or anything like that, you can always hit him up. You can always email us at thegooddog.la@gmail.com. Maybe Laura will link it up if she's feeling frisky. And we can always put you in contact with this guy, but he works with like all our clients. And what are you doing here today? What's cooking?
I dropped off Wiley.
Oh,
you
Wiley
you're here.
is
Yes, I'm planning on it.
setting up our security system. Excellent. He's also multi-talented, so we get to put him to work for lots of other little things. Real quick, Wiley is Shiba?
Inu, yeah.
She is Shiba?
Yeah.
But Wiley's one of the
yeah.
easy ones, right?
Yeah, he's a little more chill.
Wiley's like one of those 1%er Shibas, right? The real sweet, easy ones. Anyways, guys, we got to go. We always do like a high five at the end. All right. Nice of you to stop by. A little secret surprise.
Yeah,
Laura Morgan. And Forrest, thanks for being mostly quiet, buddy. We appreciate it so much. And this was an interesting show full of all sorts of strange insights, detours, distractions, and some dog training.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, we'll see you soon. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Take care. See ya.
Bye, Savitsky.
Bye.
Bye.